So I wanted to try my hand for a new idea, a new game that I think we're overdue for, a brand new Nicktoons Unite game, Nicktoons Reunited, or a remake that they could do. And I came up with my own ideas and characters and a little bit of a story for this game and a direction where they can go, and also with its future, where it's not just coming out with the game and that's it, we're on to the next one. The game can have a continuous updates, patches, and new content, and all types of different worlds that they can include. And I wanted to talk about it and bring my ideas to life for this kind of video today. And you do not have to watch the full video. And if you want to listen in and watch in the full, you can. Everything I'm going to be talking about is going to be in the description, talking about characters and the story that I came up with and what they can do with a Nicktoons Unite remake and make it bigger and better. It'll actually be bigger and better than what we have from before. And I wanted to use a different title, or the most modern and most recent newest title for this Nickelodeon crossover with the characters that we have now. This game is only a few months old, and we almost have all of the original Nicktoons Unite heroes. We only have 3 of the 4, with SpongeBob, Danny Phantom, and Jimmy Neutron, because he did not make it into the first game for All-Star Brawl, but we finally have him in this. So I thought this game would be more fitting, because some of the characters that I came up with for this as a playable and some of the ideas that I came up with, I thought this would be the best game to use to have running in the background so I can be able to expand on. And I did some research on the titles, and being open, I have never played any of the Nicktoons Unite games, but what I did was watch snippets of gameplay without spoiling myself too much. I've seen some of the playable characters, if not most of the ones that were available in specific titles, and I wanted to change it up and add on and expand and build a brand new game, or build a remake and bring other characters that didn't even get a spotlight into the game, like Aang, for example, and Korra. I'm going to be talking about, and many others, but I'm going to first start with the features that I wanted to include for this new remake. And one thing that stood out to me the most with these titles is that some of these games, or well, basically all of the Nicktoons Unite games, did not have any online play. And as time went on, most of these games started coming out, well, with these Nicktoons and these Nickelodeon titles and crossovers, they eventually came out and started having online gameplay or online multiplayer. So with this new Nicktoons Unite reunited, I would like to say it, or a return or a remake for Nicktoons Unite, I added crossplay and an online multiplayer all into one for this title as an idea. So that way everybody will be able to play, and you don't have to worry about purchasing the game again just to play with certain players and being able to play the story. Everybody will be able to play the story together, whether you prefer a particular platform. If you prefer to play on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, or PC, everybody will be able to play and experience this game when it comes out. If they were ever to do this, some kind of remake, they could do online multiplayer and also add in and implement crossplay, just like this game has. So that's why I also wanted to use it as the perfect background game to run with these characters, because we also have Jimmy Neutron, and this game has crossplay. None of these other Nicktoons titles that they came out with recently does not have crossplay. So this is the one to do it, and I think this next Nicktoons Unite can be even more awesome with the crossplay, where everybody can play and join in. Just something similar to how you could just start playing the game for, like you can in TMNT Shredder's Revenge. You can join anyone's lobby that's public and available and come in and help them out and be able to help them. You just go through the story together and so much more, and play together, go out and meet all types of new people on different platforms, and be able to play this game as many times as you want and go through the story. So speaking of the story, I wanted to just start with the new features anyway, with the crossplay and multiplayer that I just mentioned. Now I want to just share the story that I came up with of what they can do with a brand new Nicktoons Unite And it's always going to be SpongeBob. We wanted to start with him because he's going to be able to meet all sorts of newer friends. Of course, they're going to bring back SpongeBob, Danny Phantom, and Jimmy Neutron. And I hope that if they were ever to make another one and bring it back or remake it, Timmy Turner can also make his return because he's the only missing link and the only missing hero that isn't around. So I think the Nicktoons Unite games can have a good chance of getting him back in to make it into these crossovers. So I'm going to start talking about the story that I came up with for this brand new Nicktoons Unite game. So just to summarize, I don't want to make it too long, but SpongeBob notices that Bikini Bottom has become a ghost town, and some of his friends, including his best friend Patrick and Squidward and Sandy, of course, his best friend Patrick has gone missing. So he finds a strange power source emitting from the Chum Bucket. So I wanted to utilize this, plus it's in the game, of course. He finds a strange power source emitting and coming from the Chum Bucket, realizing that Plankton and Karen, whoops, I didn't mean to close that, but Plankton and Karen are up to no good again. He also isn't alone in his major plan to control the world and make everyone obey his every command. So Plankton has loads of new allies to join him on this new Nicktoons Unite reimagined game for the story. And now just to talk a little bit more about the story that I came up with, SpongeBob joins forces with all new heroes from other worlds, featuring the Loud House, Legend of Korra, and Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Fairly Odd Parents, and more, to help return their worlds back to normal. And just like I finished talking about with the crossplay and online multiplayer, this game and the story is going to be playable with local and online co-op crossplay. So how cool would that be? Let's start talking about some of these characters now. We're going to start talking about the playable characters, and I did some research on the playable characters that actually were playable in the Nicktoons Unite games, and it was different based on whatever version that you had, because some of these characters were exclusive, which I'm going to be talking about right now. So the playable characters were SpongeBob, Patrick, Jimmy Neutron, Danny Phantom, Timmy Turner with Cosmo and Wanda, and Cosmo and Wanda took on different forms of being able to help Timmy Turner with his attacks. And I think Cosmo was like a mallet, a green mallet, and I forgot what Wanda was. Maybe someone could tell me about that, or what weapon she took form of, because I know Cosmo was like a hammer or a mallet in Timmy's hand, stuff like that. I forgot. Or was Wanda like a blaster in his hand, something like that? I forgot what he had, but I know Cosmo was like a hammer. And then just going forward, just to continue talking about the playable characters, Tack, also I would like to see him come back. Stimpy was playable solo, separately from Ren. We also had Rocko and Jenny, and then Sam from Danny Phantom at least. Sam Manson was only playable for bonus stages, and I wanted to mention that some of these characters, or at least for this remake that I came up with from my idea, I would rather have, I'm not going to just limit the characters to, oh, well, they're only playable on bonus stages or specific stages that you play on. I want them to be available and unlockable when you join someone's lobby, or when you're playing and you want to change a character, you want to pick a different character, and you could be able to switch on the fly if you have them unlocked. Now, some of the other additional characters that were playable, just to wrap up, Mr. Blik and Zim, and also El Tigre, were Nintendo DS exclusives. So I wanted to put a stop to that for my idea. So if they were to ever just bring out a new Nicktoons Unite game, or for this reimagined, or this Nicktoons Reunited game that I came up with for today, I wouldn't want to make any sort of exclusive characters. I'd rather make them all playable. So, well, just for example, since I'm going to be talking about the new faces that I'm going to be adding to the game, that I added to the game, and many more, I don't want to just be like, well, if you play on PlayStation, then you'll be able to get access and be able to play as El Tigre if you buy the PlayStation version. And then if you play on Xbox, you'll be able to play as Zim, And then the Nintendo Switch, I'll just throw it out there. You'll be able to play as Rocko. I didn't want to do it like that. So I wanted to make everybody playable this time around, regardless of having to worry about buying another title or buying the game multiple times just to play as certain characters. You might be a Rocko fan, you might favorite El Tigre a little bit more, or Zim. You might even like Zim more than Rocko and El Tigre, for example. And then you don't have a strong enough PC, well, you're going to miss out on Zim. It's just an example. But you're going to miss out on that certain character because you don't own that platform. So you got to worry about buying the system, buy the whole system, then you got to pay another $60 or 40 $49.99 for like the new game just to play that character that you always wanted to play as. I wanted to make sure everybody could be able to play these characters regardless of which version of the game that you play. Some of the new characters that I noticed that did not make it into the game from doing my research for this idea, Aang didn't even make it into the game, and then they didn't have none of these characters. So how cool would it be to have Aang be able to meet Korra for the first time? And I think this was something I really liked, putting together for my story for this game. Aang will be able to actually meet Korra face to face with actual dialogue, special dialogue, and reactions. They're both avatars from different generations. How cool would that be to say, what would Aang say to Korra? What would Korra say to Aang? They're both avatars and protect the world from just the dangers of the nations, from any sort of trouble, and they're protectors of the world with all these amazing powers. They're with gifted powers. They're the chosen ones. Korra and Aang being able to meet each other in an all new Nicktoons Unite title for the first time ever. They definitely deserve to get into the game. And then on top of that, they're going to be able to meet SpongeBob's going to be meeting these characters as you play along and complete the worlds. He's going to be able to meet Aang and Korra. And then with the Loud House that I mentioned from the little story description that I came up with, the Loud House is going to be included. And SpongeBob is going to be able to meet Lincoln Loud. I added Lincoln Loud. Lucy can be a playable too to join her brother. Lincoln and Lucy Loud with SpongeBob. And then on top of that, some additional worlds. How about SpongeBob and friends being able to meet Otto and Reggie, or the Rockets, and being able to, when you play this new reimagined game, SpongeBob is going to be able to go over and explore the world of Ocean Shores, because Ocean Shores is going to be under fire. The citizens and the people of Ocean Shores are not going to be able to have fun. You see how it'll make the most sense? It's like SpongeBob's going to get those Goo Lagoon vibes. He going down to Ocean Shores to meet the Rocket Power crew. Otto, Reggie, Twister, and the Squid himself, basically Sam. He'll be able to meet all them. They can do something like this. This would be amazing to see. And he's going to get the Goo Lagoon vibes when he comes down to visit Ocean Shores. Because they won't be able to have fun with all the chaos going down in Ocean Shores. And then some other ones, they got Nigel Thornberry in this game. But SpongeBob's going to be able to meet the Thornberries. He's going to be able to meet Eliza Thornberry, who has the special ability and the secret talent to talk to these animals, and the wildlife is going to be going basically wild. As silly as it sounds. SpongeBob's going to be able to explore the wildlife and be able to help and assist Eliza and Nigel Thornberry to restore peace in the wildlife, to calm the animals, because the animals are going to be the wildlife is going to be in such an uproar. SpongeBob, with Eliza's intellect and her ability to talk to these animals as a playable character, that'll be really awesome to see. SpongeBob's going to be going to all these different places. And then just a little bit of a twist that I did with this a little bit of an add-on to the story that I did. I wanted to make this as cool as possible. So SpongeBob's going to be able to run into Zim, and he's also going to run into Gert. little old Gur, Zim and Gur. And as my little story idea, as an expansion for a little surprise for an additional twist, I made Zim and Gur. They're gonna be temporary. They're gonna be um, temporary antagonists that turn into heroes to help SpongeBob and his friends during the story as a surprise. Because I know Zim wants to destroy the world. And just with one of his lines that made me think of this is like, it was a special dialogue between Zim and Gur in this game if you play the story. He said this planet is just begging to be destroyed. He could say something like that and have his own hidden agenda, but SpongeBob can bring him to the light, and Zim and Gur can do their best to assist SpongeBob and help him out. That'll be pretty cool. And then if the developers want to do a little bit of an additional surprise, Zim can betray SpongeBob later on in the game. He decides to help up. Well, he has the golden opportunity to take power, and take control and do whatever he pleases, and have his own hidden agenda to go forward and seize the opportunity. See what I'm saying? So that'll be a nice little touch for the stories that I wanted to do with these characters. So I don't know what you guys think about that. I'm going to wrap this up with some additional plans that I wanted to mention. Of course, this game is going to have bosses where you could be able to battle them and team up with your friends and play co-op. And so bosses, evil, the ultimate enemy himself is going to be in this game. I'm not sure if he's in those other games. I'm not sure. Maybe someone will probably tell me in the comments. Is the ultimate enemy the evil Danny Phantom or Dark Danny? Did he ever make an appearance in Nicktoons Unite? The ultimate enemy, evil Danny Phantom can get into the game. Mr. Crocker could be a boss trying to find out about Timmy's fairies and stuff like that with his fairy godparents. Fire Lord Ozai can be joining Plankton. These are characters that are going to be joining Plankton to try to rule the world. Fire Lord Ozai, and if they want to throw in there, Azula could be helping out Ozai. And then, since I also just finished saying that Aang is going to be part of it, Zuko could be a secret character that's a surprise character that you'll be able to encounter, and Prince Zuko himself is going to be playable, and he'll be able to help Aang out. King Goobot from Jimmy Neutron could be a boss that I threw in. And it's just some other Loud House, a Loud House villain, for example. The Loud House, I'm surprised that the Loud House didn't even get a chance to get a mention. And then it has yet to make an appearance in some of these games. So I wanted to add in the Loud House because SpongeBob, just like I mentioned earlier, the Loud House is going to have some iconic villain to be able to join. And Lincoln Loud could be able to take on, I'll just throw this out there as a little bit of additional idea. Some people might even say Lincoln Loud could be an NPC or something like that, but I wanted to give Lincoln Loud a bigger role. So I wanted to just do maybe like Morag, I think her name was. I don't know too much about the Loud House. I haven't seen every single episode. Some of y'all know. Some of y'all are Loud House fans. I put Morag in as a boss that could be able to join the influence in the plans of Plankton and joining the likes of Plankton and many others to be able to get into the game and be a playable boss. I won't say a playable boss, but just a boss battle that you'll be able to take on. There's so many characters and great bosses that can join in. Ember can probably make an appearance to try to slow Danny Phantom down. It goes on and on. I didn't even mention Hey Arnold and all the other ones. You see what I mean? There's so many worlds that they can make this game bigger and better. And just to wrap up, the DLC. How about some DLC for post-launch content? DLC can feature more worlds to increase the lifespan of the game, to create more sales, to keep the player playing, to get excited, not just going for achievements and trophy hunting or buying the game to trophy hunt, but the game will have a future where he can meet the Angry Beavers, where he can go and see and meet Arnold, the football head, and hit the streets of New York. How cool would that be? SpongeBob and Arnold, and then just a little bit of something kind of just a perfect example for the DLC that I would like. SpongeBob cross TMNT. SpongeBob and TMNT DLC, or SpongeBob cross TMNT DLC, where he can meet Leonardo, Mikey, Raphael, and Donatello. Who would buy the SpongeBob DLC, the DLC for Nicktoons Unite, where SpongeBob actually, where you buy the world and you will be able to also play as those characters, and he can help out the TMNT members to battle against Shredder and the Foot Clan, and help out Master Splinter. Casey Jones, he can meet April, get a little interview from April, and she'll be able to meet a talking sponge for the first time. But you see the future that it can bring, and I wanted to just wrap it up with this idea, with this kind of post-launch content, so it doesn't just come out and that's it. It'll have way more worlds that SpongeBob can be able to explore and meet all sorts of new friends out there that he has yet to meet. So he will be able to meet Lincoln Loud and the avatars of different generations, Eliza Thornberry, and so on and so forth. It goes on and on and on. And I think this game could be huge. It'll be a huge hit for the Nickelodeon crossover, and for the Nickelodeon universe, and the fans out there, they'll have something that they can keep on playing, and the developers can come out with their own roadmap for all the different additional worlds to be included as time goes on, so you don't have to keep starting over and coming out with a sequel and a sequel and a sequel over and over every couple years. You can have a game that's gonna keep going because there's so many different worlds that SpongeBob can go visit and be a part of. And as you complete these worlds, you'll be able to bring and play those characters on any world that you want to. So if you're playing online, you already unlocked a certain character, you could be able to use them. And I'll just say this, something that's a little bonus: you can use the same character. If you're a fan of Leonardo, or you're a fan of Danny Phantom, or you like Timmy the most, you can play, everybody can play as the same character if they want. So they're not just missing out. Oh, someone stole my character, or they took your favorite character. You can still be able to play them. The developers will have a golden idea with this, and that's why I wanted to put something like this together today and put the time and research into it to make it stand out and make it a good story, and also make it have a future where it'll be post-launch content, and also with the crossplay feature and online multiplayer where you can play with everybody no matter what platform they play on. I'm curious to see what you guys think of this idea. I had so much fun putting this together. It took some time, but this is something that I would love to see the most. I definitely want to play these games. I never played them before, but I wanted to come out with something as a cool little idea that I think everyone would enjoy, and the developers can take on this idea and be able to bring these characters together. Aang and Korra will be awesome to see for each other face to face and meet, and SpongeBob will be able to meet all new friends beyond Danny Phantom, Jimmy Neutron, and Timmy Turner, etc., etc. All new worlds for the Nickelodeon universe.